Resolving behavior issues is tricky because each time your dog has the opportunity to misbehave, it also has the opportunity to be rewarded for the misbehavior. This causes the misbehavior to get worse. The reward may or may not come from you. It can come from the environment. For example, when your dog destroys something, the reward could be good darn fun, relief from boredom, or stress reduction. In addition, we have a tendency to want the misbehavior to stop now, which leads us down a path of using aversive techniques. Aversive techniques have a tendency to be associated with the person administering it. You don't like having aversive techniques applied to you, and neither does your dog. Just like with you, aversive techniques can contribute to your dog being more stressed out, less trusting, and can increase the propensity for behavior issues later in life. Good relationships are based on trust. Don't betray your dog's trust that you're going to keep it safe and not allow scary or painful things to happen to it. The good news is, as you go through the process of teaching your dog how to behave correctly, you can prevent your dog from misbehaving. The more you prevent misbehavior, the less time it'll take to train your dog to behave correctly. And your relationship will blossom due to the mutual trust that is built. The most common type of prevention is using confinement. So you're probably familiar with using a crate. Crates are great for house training your dog and anytime your dog is not supervised. But you might decide to use a doggy exercise pen instead. The advantage is that your dog will have a little bit more room to move around. And some people are going to decide to use either confining the dog into a small room or a baby gate system. If you use either the exercise pen or the baby gate, the environment is still going to have to be doggy proofed. You can also use my favorite prevention technique, which is humane tethering. I consider it to be one of the best prevention techniques for when your dog is supervised. A hangout tether and a hands-free tether are two examples of humane tethering. A hangout tether is made of a 5-foot-long chew-proof plastic-coated airline cable with a door stop. It is used to safely and humanely tether your dog to objects or door jamb while you are supervising your dog. But here's the catch. You must exercise your dog until it is tired prior to tethering it, supervise your dog while it is tethered, and acclimate your dog to the tether. The process of acclimating your dog to the tether is easy. Play with your dog until it's tired. Attach your dog to the tether and give it a luscious, safe animal product chew. The dog can choose to chew or not. Stay close if your dog is at all scared. Otherwise, you can move around the room and do other things. I highly recommend you do hangout training twice a day for 30 minutes. Your dog will be able to move around a little, but not so much as to get into trouble. Once your dog is acclimated to the tether, you can use it anytime your dog is supervised and likely to misbehave. Put your dog on the hangout cable prior to misbehavior. So if somebody's coming into the house and your dog is likely to jump on them, put your dog on the hangout cable prior to the person entering the house. If your dog is likely to playfully bite, put it on the hangout cable prior to your dog biting. Now, if the dog displays those behaviors, all the person has to do is walk away. You can use a smell deterrent to prevent playful biting, stealing, or chewing issues. You can make a smell deterrent out of 1 teaspoon of eucalyptus oil added to 1 cup of water or a taste deterrent like bitter apple or fooey. Put it into a spray bottle and spray it onto things your dog should not put in its mouth. The smell deterrent has a pleasant, mild smell to us, but is strong and repulsive to the powerful nose of a dog, and it's a lot more effective than a taste deterrent. Another prevention technique that you might not be familiar with is called settle. With settle, I drape the leash down to the ground and I step on it as close to the dog as possible. This makes it so the dog can't jump on anyone and it's not going to pull and succeed in getting closer to what it wants. Settle training also teaches the dog calmness is an option. Look at how the dogs in this class are nice and calm. They're just laying calmly around as the owner is listening to lecture. Another technique you might want to consider is Making sure your dog has a doggy toy box that it doesn't have access to. Only give your dog 3 toys to have out. And before your dog gets bored, put those 3 toys away and bring out 3 new ones. This is going to prevent your dog from getting bored of its toys, and it's going to increase the probability that your dog will self-entertain. Dogs can also get bored of their chews, so I give chew objects for only 30 minutes, and then I remove it, and later in the day I might give another one for 30 minutes. This is going to keep those chews novel and interesting and increase the probability the dog will chew on its chews instead of my furniture. And if you have a dog that's tenacious about playful biting, consider getting it an oversized stuffed toy to wrestle with. Bring out the toy at times which your dog is more likely to be bitey. Your dog will wrestle and thrash with it just like it would another dog, and that'll save your hands and arms from those sharp dog teeth. Okay, just 2 more. So, if your dog is going to go someplace, you want to take it on a walk or an outing, consider exercising it with some retrieving games first. This is going to take at least the edge off of your dog and make it so your dog can be more calm. Then the last one is, if you're teaching your dog to come when called and it's not 100% reliable, have a long line on your dog. So if it doesn't turn and come to you, you can just reel it in like a nice big fish. Your next secret word is treats. Type it in the second box in the form below. Once I have my prevention protocol set up, I want to set up reward stations, little containers of rewards. They could be food rewards, but they could also be toy rewards around the house, around my yard, so that when my dog's doing good behaviors, I have rewards that are easily accessible. My dog's laying on its bed or its mat. I want to go get a reward and take that to the dog and reward that dog for the good behaviors that it's doing. Or the dog is playing with its toys instead of grabbing my throw cushions off the couch. I want to go play with the dog too. I want to engage in that play. I want the dog to think that that behavior is to its advantage. So when I brought Huli home, I had 4 reward stations set up in my living room. I could always go any direction to grab rewards. I had 3 of them set up in my yard, so I could easily reward things like coming when called and going potty outside. So lots of reward stations set up, make it so you don't have to have food on you or rewards on you. And those could be toy rewards, they could be food rewards. A big variety is going to be great.